Good morning. As Mrs. Hibner said, my name is Natalie Lehner. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak to you today. As I know most of the people in this room have, I've gone to Catholic school since I was 5 years old. Little did I know as a kindergartner, Catholic school would be the best sacrifice my parents could have made for me. I could go on and on about why I feel so blessed to have attended a Catholic school all my life, but I've settled on a few to articulate. The first reason is said best by our namesake, St. John the 23rd. What unites us is far greater than what divides us. Sharing the same or at least similar faith, beliefs, and morals with my teachers and peers is a blessing that I tend to take for granted. We as a school are united by our beliefs, creating a firm foundation for building relationships both inside and outside of the classroom. I think that aspect of Roncalli is what makes this place such a great school to be. Personally, I have felt welcomed into this school community since my freshman orientation almost 4 full years ago, and I strongly believe that it is due to our shared Catholic faith. Although some students have made it known that going to Mass isn't their favorite thing after a full day of classes, I cherish all school liturgy. Seeing over 1,000 students packed into our gymnasium to celebrate the sacrament of the Eucharist is one of my favorite things we do here at Roncalli. I love seeing all of my classmates and friends actively live out their faith life. There are so many great things that I could say about why I love going to a Catholic school, but to sum it up, having a Catholic education means the world to me. I've had endless opportunities to live out my faith by going to Mass, adoration, and confession here in this building. I have friendships that have been built on the foundation of our Catholic beliefs, and I've made so many wonderful memories in the halls of Roncalli and back at St. Jude. If you have ever spoken to one of my fellow senior classmates about their grade school experience, I have no doubt in my mind that they have mentioned how COVID ruined our 8th grade year. Not only did we have to complete our final months on our home computers, trying to teach ourselves from the brief lessons that our teachers had left us, we also missed out on all of the fun end-of-grade school activities. As a St. Jude grad, my class and I were heartbroken when we did not get the opportunity to reenact the Stations of the Cross. We were devastated that our full class Kings Island Day turned into a partial class Holiday World trip. And to end it all, we had to graduate from grade school in our cars, parked in the bubble parking lot, tuning in to a specific radio station just so we could hear our names being announced. Looking back, I'm still bummed about the way that we had to end our 8th grade. But even more than that, I hated the way our class had to start high school. As all of you students have experienced, freshman orientation is a big day, full of overwhelming excitement, intimidating seniors, and pure eagerness from both the freshman and the incoming senior class. My class, the class of 2024, didn't have just one freshman orientation. We had 3. Not 3 big days of enthusiasm, but 3 different days, hosting only a third of our class, and this was only the start of a divided year. I will not bore you with more information about how COVID affected my life and my class, because we all know that COVID briefly ruined everything. But I will elaborate on the effects that COVID had brought upon us. With roughly 230 students in the class of 2024, spending 8+ hours at Roncalli, 5 days a week, for 4 years, one would assume that I know everyone in my class, know their name, their face, and at least a little something about each of them. However, thanks to COVID online and hybrid classes, I didn't really get the opportunity to become acquainted with one another like the rest of you did. We didn't have freshman year football games to meet new people and get booed by the whole student body. We didn't have half of our classmates in the halls with us on the days that we were to go to school. We didn't have a freshman year homecoming where we were all crammed dancing under a tent, not meant to host as many students as it does. We didn't get any of that. I, like most of my classmates, was a stranger to over half of my class up until sophomore year, only going to school with people whose last names started L through Z. Although this was a huge setback for us, losing out on the freshman year bonding that we see in every other class, I think we have been able to overcome it. Now, I know this doesn't seem like a big accomplishment since we have had 3 years to catch up, but I think our connectedness is a victory for our class. COVID ruined a lot, but I'm grateful that we did not let it ruin our class. Instead, it gave us something to bond over, even though it kept us apart. We as a class have grown so much since 2020, making new friends, stepping out of our comfort zone, and joining clubs and extracurriculars after quarantine ended. I think we have really gotten to know our class and have learned so much about life as we walk through this journey together. I know I'm only 18 years old, so what real advice can I give? Other than my one friend from FC, I have barely even experienced life outside of my Catholic school bubble. I have been sheltered all of my life so far. I grew up in a loving household with a seemingly endless number of people who love and support me. I have 3 sisters who are always there to lean on. I have always had teachers who want the best for me in life. I have had coaches who would do anything for me, write letters of recommendation, encourage me when I'm down, and even call 911 when I have an unexpected asthma attack before a game. I have had classmates try to teach me concepts that I just can't understand, giving up their time so I can get a better grade on the next assignment. I've had the best teammates who always make me feel like I'm an important part of the team, even if I'm just cheering them on from the bench. Really, I have had all of the support that one could ever ask for. So what do I know? I have never been alone a day in my life. I have never really had to struggle. Well, the greatest lesson that I have learned here in my time at Roncalli is said best by Tim McGraw. In his song, Humble and Kind, he says, "Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around." Roncalli has blessed me with so much love over the past 4 years. Seniors, I know everyone is excited to get to that finish line. We are so close. I know we are all eager to start the next chapter in our lives. For many of us, this will be the first time in our lives that we will be stepping away from our families, our friends, and our hometown. It will be the first time not attending a Catholic institution. For some, it will be the first time living outside of Indiana. For a few, it will be the first time that you are not in a classroom, but out in the workforce. No matter where your next chapter in life begins, don't forget, turn back around. You have so many people who love and support you. If you attended a senior retreat, reach out to your retreat group every once in a while. Don't be hesitant to send an email to your favorite teacher. Give him or her a life update and tell them that you miss them. Lastly, seniors, don't take for granted the love that Roncalli has given you. When you get into the real world, not every professor will know you, your name, and your face. You won't get Mr. Bonich's weekly reminders to make it to Mass on Sunday. You won't get Mr. Wance's late Sunday night emails telling you what to expect for this week. Life won't be the same without Roncalli in our everyday lives. We must remember to turn back around every once in a while to recall the valuable lessons that we have learned here in high school. As for everyone else, don't worry, I can give you a small piece of advice too. Juniors, I know it's cliche and everyone says it, but your senior year goes by too fast. Go to everything that you can. Participate in it all. Go all out when you lead freshman orientation in a few months. Go to every football game. Go to all of the school dances. And don't be embarrassed to go all out for Spirit Week because who's going to judge you? And definitely go on senior retreat, even if you don't want to. Sophomores, don't be scared of junior year. Everyone says that it is the most difficult year of high school, but really, it's not that bad. Junior year is a great year. You will finally be an upperclassman, you get booed less at pep rallies, but sadly, it is your year to take the SAT and the ACT, so good luck with those. Freshmen, Coach Sims has always said it best. Do you want to know the best thing about freshmen? It is that they become sophomores. Next year, you will finally have learned how to walk on the right side of the hallway, and you will figure out that standing with your friends in the middle of the hallway is not always the most favorable thing that you can do. Although you don't get to go outside for gym class anymore, you have now earned the right to boo another class when they don't cheer loud enough. And finally, teachers and staff, you might be thinking to yourselves right now, what on earth could this senior in high school be trying to tell us to do with our lives? I get it. Sure, you know much more about life than me. You know how to file taxes. I definitely don't. You know how to provide for yourself and a family, and I barely know what setting my washing machine should be on. But here I am, giving you advice. My advice to you is simple. Don't forget how much of an impact you have on your students. If it wasn't for Mrs. Armbruster's enthusiasm for what she teaches, I probably would have fallen asleep in first period AP Calculus as she taught us what a derivative was. Although I had him as a teacher 2 years ago, Mr. North still says hi to me in the hallways, and it always makes my day a little bit better than it was before. Mrs. Hibner, no matter how busy she is always cheerful and has a smile on her face, inspiring me to do the same. I do not have time to go through and name every teacher who has impacted my life here, but I want all of you to know, teachers as well as administration, you shape us students into the people that we become. The whole student body is grateful for each and every one of you. Roncalli is and has been a huge piece of me. It's hard to leave this place. Although I know I will be back since I still have 2 sisters who have a few more years here, it will be weird not seeing the same faces every day. As much as we all look forward to this day, endings are always bittersweet. To me, this week feels like the last day of summer vacation. We don't want the good times to end, but we are eager to start something new and exciting. So as we turn the page to the next chapter in life, let us listen to what Mr. Bonich always tells us. Thank your parents for sending you to such an amazing school, and tell them you love them, because without their sacrifices, we would not be about to walk across the stage in a few days to be handed our diploma. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you guys, and I am forever grateful for the sacrifices that you have made for me. I will never forget my 4 short years here. Thank you, Roncalli.
Chancellor Walsh, Mr. Weisenbach, Mr. Bonich, faculty, parents, guests, friends, and members of the class of 2024. Before I begin, I want to give a huge thanks to my parents who have made it possible for me to be here today. Their relentless love, support, and encouragement has played a crucial role in getting me through the most difficult challenges. I guess I should also thank my siblings too. Thanks, I guess. In all seriousness, though, my siblings have been people I know I can rely on for anything, and I'm extremely grateful. Finally, I would also like to thank the administration, faculty, and staff at Roncalli for working so hard and making it possible for me and all of us to be here today. Throughout our time here at Roncalli, we have faced numerous challenges that made our journey difficult, but we overcame them, and here we are. So, today, I want to focus on perseverance and our journey going forward. At Roncalli, I'm confident that during these past 4 years, we, as a class, have persevered. We've had tremendous success in academics, athletics, and performing arts. We have completed over 45,000 service hours in total, and if that doesn't show perseverance, then certainly battling through a pandemic during the beginning of our high school careers does. Overall, we know how to push ourselves. I transferred to Roncalli in my sophomore year and worked hard to find my place. Thanks to all the extracurricular options at Roncalli, I joined soccer and spell bowl, and I was able to easily meet new people and smoothly transition into life as a Royal. I've spent my high school career learning what it means to truly persevere. Over the years, our class has shown me how hard work pays off. We've had volleyball teams competing at the state level, 3 consecutive spell bowl state championships, bowling state championships, archery competing at a national level, state-level gymnastics, outstanding musicals and plays, and so much more. On the summer field studies trip, I had the chance to literally climb mountains with my classmates, a both mentally and physically demanding task that we achieved together. Seeing the success of our class despite difficulties has shown me how perseverance rewards those who put in the effort. Now, I challenge you all to apply that same practice going forward as we continue our journeys. Nearly every day for the past several years, we have heard the phrase, "Let's commit to the productive struggle." While many of us have come to simply gloss over the words, I believe that these words deliver a truly powerful message, urging us to commit to overcoming difficulty and commit to becoming a better version of ourselves, learning and growing each day. Each and every one of us will face all sorts of adversity after graduating, but we are prepared to overcome these challenges, using them instead as opportunities to achieve greatness. One of my favorite tales of perseverance is the Disney movie Hercules. Forced down to earth from Olympus, Hercules pushes himself to his limits physically and mentally in order to become a hero, defeat the villain Hades, and grow as a human person. He works and works so that he can go the distance and accomplish his goals. Going forward, I believe each one of us can go the distance as well, becoming successful and achieving great accomplishments. Not only should we work hard academically, physically, athletically, and mentally, but we are called to persevere in our faith, and Roncalli has prepared us by providing the tools and knowledge required to do so. God will always be with us and love us, but we have to work hard to accept God's love for us and embrace His will. We aren't perfect, so there will be setbacks, but regardless, we must continue to work towards what God calls us to do, living out the Catholic mission. Scripture says, "Seek the Lord and His strength, seek His presence continually." Without God, we are lost, but seeking Him out, working hard to establish a relationship with Him, guides us in our journey, leading us back to Him. A favorite Roncalli memory of mine is the Lean on Me tradition after all school liturgy celebrations. The connectedness shared with our fellow classmates unites us under God's Catholic mission for us all, while also reminding us that we can rely on God and each other to help us face our challenges. As I close this speech, I would like to once again thank my parents for the continual love and support, as well as the class of 2024 for making my high school experience so enjoyable. We have worked extremely hard to get here today, and it is finally paying off. Going forth, I want to leave you with a quote from Michael Jordan. "Be true to the game, because the game will be true to you. If you try to shortcut the game, then the game will shortcut you. If you put forth the effort, good things will be bestowed upon you." Roncalli class of 2024, always remember to persevere no matter where your journey takes you. God will always be with you. Thank you.
Chancellor Walsh, Mr. Weisenbach, Mr. Bonich, faculty, parents, guests, friends, and members of the class of 2024. Thank you all for gathering here today to celebrate the culmination of a journey that the students sitting before me began 4 years ago when they first entered the halls of Roncalli, masked up and socially distanced. I think it's safe to say that our freshman year was like no other, but we have made it to graduation day, so kudos to you all for your perseverance. I would also like to express immense gratitude to my family. Without the continued support of my parents in all aspects of my life, whether they are enthusiastically cheering me on from the stands at soccer games or idly sitting in an auditorium watching me write down words on a piece of paper at spell bowl competitions, as well as the never-ending encouragement from my siblings who have been the greatest role models since day one, I would not be standing on this stage today with the honor of sending this amazing class onto the next chapter of our lives. Given much contemplation, as well as a countless amount of hours carefully pondering over the topic of my speech, the one idea that happened to remain at the forefront of my mind was change. With many of my classmates discussing where they are going to college, who their roommates are going to be, and everything else they plan to do after graduating, I have honestly found myself quite overwhelmed thinking about how different life will be after leaving Roncalli. Having come to Roncalli from a South Deanery school, I have shared a learning environment with the same people for the past 12 years, learning how to take derivatives of functions in my AP Calculus class, alongside those who had learned how to count past 10 with in kindergarten. High school was a new territory for us back then in the fall of 2020, as little ninth graders fresh out of middle school. Plus, the fact that you could only see the top half of the faces of all your teachers and classmates did not make the experience any better. But we survived all those obstacles. including the struggles that came with online learning when the teacher failed to realize that they had been on mute the whole class period, or when we frequently got called out for having our masks fall beneath our noses at school. But once those masks came off, we began to learn each other's names and faces, getting to know one another and forging friendships that will last a lifetime. While the circumstances of our fairly rough start to high school were indeed unfortunate, I believe that those hardships helped us grow as a class, uniting us under a common struggle that no other class at Roncalli had experienced during their freshman year. But I have come to realize that life is not always going to be that way, the way in which the words friend and classmate are easily interchangeable, the way in which it is not as difficult for one to engage in a friendly conversation with someone they come across in the hallway, the way in which each person shares a close personal bond with those around them. After leaving Roncalli, we will each be taking on new experiences, whether you are attending college, entering trade school, or joining the workforce, immersing ourselves in a completely different environment with new people, new skills to acquire, and new lessons to learn. Frankly, I find this all rather scary. But now that we are grown high school graduates heading into the next chapter of our lives, I present to you all a challenge. Accept change, not as something to fear, but rather as an opportunity to grow. Now, if you think of all the memories that you have made this past year as seniors, those memories would not have been made if we remained scared little freshmen, afraid to go out of our comfort zone and interact with the new people and the new environment that surrounded us. I had actually been reminded of that scared freshman feeling at the beginning of this school year during the orientation for the class of 2027. When a member of the Roncalli staff asked me if I managed to get my locker open. You would think that me wearing my senior shirt was enough indication that I was indeed not a freshman and in fact did know how to open a locker, given my past 3 years in high school, but I guess I just blend right in with the underclassmen. This is a prime example of a core senior year memory of mine. And what made it so special is that I was able to laugh about it with all my friends that I had made throughout high school. So with change, there will come embarrassing moments like this, and mistakes will be made. But it is important to remember that we are not experiencing it alone. We all have family, friends, teachers, classmates, coaches, teammates, and of course, each other, to lean on whenever we are in need of support. And someone else who has been by our side since day one, helping us persevere through every hardship we face, is our Heavenly Father, who offers us all this encouragement. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be dismayed, for the Lord God is with you. He will not leave you or forsake you until all the work for the service of the house of the Lord is finished. While our time at Roncalli is coming to an end, we each have our whole lives ahead of us to continue doing the Lord's work and spreading God's love to all those we meet. And Christ will be with us through it all. Throughout our 4 years here, we have been shown so much love by the Roncalli community, people that God placed into our lives to show us the beauty of each and every one of them, and in turn have them help us recognize our own individual beauty, a blessing in disguise, if you will. But it was not until I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to interact with these people that I was able to recognize this. So who knows the amount of blessings in your life that you remain ignorant of due to your fear, due to perceiving change as something to be scared of, rather than as an opportunity for growth. With this in mind, I would like to leave you all with a quote from one of my favorite Disney Pixar films, The Good Dinosaur. Sometimes you have got to get through your fear to see the beauty on the other side. That being said, thank you for a great 4 years, class of 2024, and I hope to see you all on the other side.